Alexis. Hey,
Okay.
Hey everybody. Hey Alexis, thanks
Hi
for having
everybody.
me.
I'm so glad you're here.
Me too, thank you. And Mr. Benjamin's here with Mr. Rex. So tell me.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about how JSJ can help in your life, in anybody's life, and how it can change really and transform you. And talk a little bit about our own personal history.
Okay.
And we do have this Beginnings 1 coming up, so we wanted to talk a little bit about what it can offer, what it offers, and who it would be for.
Mm-hmm. So should I say something?
Yeah,
or you can.
you can.
Okay, but you're
first.
the expert in JSJ.
I will talk about JSJ.
All right, so I'm going to tell you how I think JSJ can help you, and then you can chime in, okay?
Absolutely.
So in my journey as a fellow traveler and as a human being, and also as a practitioner, I've come to learn that getting well, feeling well, being well is really, really very simple. No matter what's going on in our life, if we have a health issue, if we have an emotional issue, if we have a stressor in any area of our life, it's simply about creating a state of peace in our mind. Yes, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Having peace of mind, which for many of us can feel really challenging these days. The world,
get there, you mean?
Yeah, the world is a really crazy place. It's a crazy place outside, and we can come in, we can have experiences that can create a lot of internal strife. And in fact, as a practitioner, as a physician, as a holistic physician, I've come to learn, as well as through my own healing journey of experiencing illnesses myself, that all healing and whatever we're needing, whatever's going on in our life, whether it's a physical health issue or an emotional health issue or a situation or circumstance in our life, we need to come from a place of peace of mind. Mm-hmm. That's how healing happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yes.
And in my understanding of JSJ, and I've been a client of Alexis as well, so I have experienced it personally, JSJ is this energy medicine technique that allows your body, mind, spirit, if you will, to find its place of peace, its place of wholeness, its place of energetic balance. Mm-hmm. And it's from that place of peace, of wholeness, of energetic balance that all healing happens. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting because people come with specific complaints. Mm-hmm. Migraines, arthritis, stress, anxiety, insomnia, blood pressure, and so we go to the root cause of the project, what we call project. We turn problems into projects, and it is for this reason that it's so effective. So as soon as the energy starts to move, it will go to a causal level. And so when we listen to, the way we find out what's going on in the root cause is to listen to the pulse in the wrist. Mm-hmm. You feel the cause. So somebody may say, oh, I have a pain on my right lower back, but actually the cause is in the opposite shoulder. Mm-hmm. And so this is how we work it. And as soon as the energy starts to move, it starts to spiral all through the body and healing takes place. So it will take the person very, very far, whether they even realize it or not. Mm-hmm. And so when you give yourself Jin Shin Jyutsu or when you receive a session, it changes your focus and you leave in a completely different space. And so healing takes place.
Right. So it's a form of energy medicine, and a lot of people who are familiar with acupuncture, that's a kind of energy medicine if you're not familiar with JSJ. And in energy medicine, everything is connected, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your physical symptoms. Mm-hmm. But what might seem to be the physical cause or the obvious cause is not necessarily the cause. Like Alexis, you just said you could have a pain in your lower back, but the root in it is somewhere in your shoulder. Mm-hmm. And it may also very well be rooted in how you're thinking and feeling. But since everything is connected, when you work with Alexis or she teaches you how to work on yourself, you're going to have a shift in everything, not just physically, but how you're thinking and feeling.
Exactly. I mean, there is not really a way around it. So it's interesting that the people that walk through this door, in a way, they already have started their journey, whether it's conscious or subconsciously. Mm-hmm. When I never get people to come to me, really, they are ready to come, and they are ready for this shift, consciously or subconsciously. And that's really interesting, because once the energy starts to move, things are beyond our thoughts. You know, we have thoughts, words, and action, and they are all related. This is the psychology and the philosophy and the technique. So all of that is involved in Jin Shin Jyutsu, and that's why it is so powerful, really, and you feel so different after you treat yourself or receive a session.
So what would you say to somebody who is struggling with a physical health issue, and they've gone to holistic doctors, and maybe they've tried herbs, maybe a woman with menopausal symptoms, and they've tried a lot of stuff, and maybe part of them wants to be self-empowered and feel like they're in charge of their own health, but maybe they're also really tired and they feel overwhelmed, and they're not really sure they're able to find a practice in which they're going to be so in charge. What would you say to somebody like that?
For example, people with hormonal problems, I mean, there's a very easy flow. First of all, the ring finger helps anything to do with related to hormones. So we have a little hormonal flow, which I can just show you right now, and it is to put one hand on the shoulder and then make a ring with your ring finger. So that already helps hormones. So we have a lot more self-help holds for hormonal projects. And for example, very often when I work with somebody who's working on hormonal projects, they will get a hot flash right on the table, because with the Jin Shin Jyutsu, it brings everything to the surface. So I will go into their, what we call the fifth depth, which is related to fire, and I will hold it, and it subsides immediately. It will cut that hot flash. So I teach them how to do that as well. So there's many different ways, and even though it sounds like you're treating the symptom, you're actually treating the root cause. Also, all projects are related to the attitudes. And you talk about that, the worry, fear, anger,
to emotions,
sadness, and triumphs,
to where we are mentally and physically, mentally and emotionally rather, so I was thinking, for somebody who's struggling, and you know, sometimes when we're struggling, when we're suffering, we just really want somebody to fix us, right? We just, you know, sometimes when we're not feeling well, we just want to feel better, and it may feel overwhelming to have to take action and do something on our own. So for somebody who's struggling, how can you help them? And how can this course might be of help to you? But somebody who may not have just all of the energy to embark on learning a whole new practice to do on their own.
Well, in this course, you're going to learn a lot of self-help and different flow patterns and all of that. So probably that is for a person who is interested in really helping themselves. I do have clients that just come once a week, and they don't do any of the self-help really. And for me, it's okay. It's wherever the person wants to take it, because after the session and their pulses are in harmony, it's when the healing takes place. So it's not up to me to decide where they have to take this practice. This course is also really good, for example, for massage therapists, because it will introduce them to a way that they can add to their massage practice, or even slowly shift. You know, because once you start to learn about it, it's really a lifetime study, and it's really, you know, endless. I mean.
So I'm going to interrupt you. Is that okay?
Yes.
I was there for you to say more. So it's a course that's really great if you want to learn tools for your own self-care, if you've got something going on physically, emotionally in your life that's stressing you, or you just want to learn tools for staying well. And it's really great if you're a practitioner and you want to have another, a whole band of tools and practices to use, especially if you're a body worker like a massage therapist, right? But if you're not so sure you're ready to take the plunge and do everything yourself, perhaps it'd be great to have a session with you privately and see what it's like to receive the treatment. So it's for people to be practitioners, people to involve themselves in their own self-care. People can practice on their friends and family and themselves.
I mean, people, most people who get introduced, they make this like a daily routine in their life. And I've seen people maybe once, and I see them years later, and they say, "Oh, I do the main center stores every day of myself." And I, you know, so that is, it becomes a part of
Right,
your life.
that's great.
And the more you do it, the more you start to
Yeah.
feel it, and the more you can decide when you want to do it and when you need it. So it's really an art about getting to know and help yourself. You really get to know yourself
Right.
and your body and
Right.
very well.
So what practices do you do on yourself as a daily routine?
I do a lot of main center stores at least once a day. Hold my fingers. I work with some of the mudras, which is what we're going to go. I really use all the material that we have, whatever I need. I use a lot of umbilicus flow on myself, which is we have a fast flow for that, like a quickie. So I use it every day,
and it's a kind of practice that literally has almost instantaneous effects, right?
You know,
Because
it
it's an
really
energy
does.
medicine.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really does.
So tell me, sometimes I have a lot of anxiety.
Yes.
You know, and my mind just goes to whatever's going on. And I'm this holistic doctor and I have all these tools that I teach other people. And sometimes I'm not always so good at using them for myself. Meditation, breathing, prayer, writing, you know, eating the right food for my constitution, all these things. Surrendering to something bigger than myself. What can I do? What's a good practice that I can do to just shift my anxiety, to get out of my thinking brain?
Well, the easiest
In
way
addition to
to
breathing.
help anxiety is to hold the index finger, because that helps to harmonize fear. So that's the easiest way. And then again, the main center source, which you know, yes.
Yeah, we did that.
The right hand goes on top.
The right hand.
Yes, because the left hand pulls the energy
Okay.
down. So you start here, and then it goes here. Well, and so on. We did this on the last one, and you're going to learn it in beginnings one. But you move, you'll harmonize the anxiety, and it has to do with putting you in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what we talk about.
Right. That's what we do when we relax and we breathe, belly breathe. Yeah.
Also seems like a lot of yoga people are interested in this, instructors, and you know, people combine it.
Yeah, you guys do this yin yoga thing, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what it's
the
called.
Yin Shin
yoga.
We combine yin yoga and Jin Shin Jyutsu.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think for beginnings one, I think that really covers it.
Do you want to talk about your story? I think your story is really powerful.
Okay,
so
that will be the last.
I think your story is so compelling. Because it's why you do what you do. And it's a huge, big life story. Yeah.
Maybe it's ultimately why I came to the United States.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm from Amsterdam, and when I was 18 years old, I decided to go to New York to be a dancer. And I was in this company called the American Dance Machine. So one day in class, I did a PK turn on my right and popped my knee. And I knew that that was going to be an issue moving forward. And indeed, I had to be off my knee for many weeks at a time. I went for acupuncture, and it helped, you know, somewhat, but it didn't completely resolve it, and it would come back all the time. So one day, a friend of mine took me for a session with a lady by the name of Philomena Dooley, who became my teacher. And after his session, she said to me, "So what's going on with you?" And I said, "Well, I have this knee pain." And she grabbed my little toes, which I now understand is the kidney energy, which runs right through the knee. And she really, really got in there. And the next day I was able to go back to rehearsal. I mean, I had no pain. And she taught me also how to treat it myself. So I was able to maintain it. And so she said, "I'm teaching a workshop next week, why don't you take it?" And I was so impressed, so I took it. And when I took it, it just changed my life. I mean, there was something about it that made so much sense, and that had to do with the philosophy of it. I didn't have a clue what she was talking about, because the technique part is really vast and complicated and a lifetime study. But I asked her if I could study with her. And she said yes. She said, "Go get your massage license first," which I did. And then I was able to study with her in her practice. I was one of those lucky few ones that really got to be mentored by her. And we still talk
And it changed your life path because you went from being a dancer to being a healing practitioner.
You know, it really
And
did,
and that's huge.
I realized that Jin Shin Jyutsu is really my path, because I then stopped dancing altogether. I treated a lot of dancers, and it really became my life's path, and it will be till the end of my days.
I think
for sure. And I'm always still learning and growing. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of it too. In this way, it's not just a technique, but it's also an art. And in beginnings one, you start to really understand it.
I think that's a really, really compelling story. And it's
Thank
great
you.
advertisement for JSJ. Yeah, I mean, your life path, your whole direction changed, and it's become your mission and your purpose.
So I then brought it back to Holland, where it's also flourishing now.
Yeah,
So
that's
now when I
wonderful.
go, you know, I'm going to meet with the people who are practicing there.
Yeah.
We're actually going to have a group in April.
That's
So
wonderful.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wow, I think we put the dogs to sleep.
Okay. So I hope you will join us with
Uh-huh.
Beginnings 1, and we have many other workshops on the horizon. So we'll talk more. And Trish, thank you so much
Oh, thank you.
for being here.
It's really fun to be part of it. Yeah.
I'm really glad you are.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do a little bit of my thing here. Yeah. And I think we created this energy of peace that the dogs are now mellow. Yeah.
If I could get them on the camera, I would, but they're not showing.
Okay.
Seriously, look at that.
Did you just finish?
No.
Oh.